Hello! This video will show you just how easy it is to set up your own version of EmpowerDB to collect all of the information that you need for your FVPSA report. To automatically generate the numbers that will appear on that report, and make some small changes to the way that your system is set up. At any time, you can jump to the different sections of this video using the chapter markers at the bottom. Alright, let's get started. To set up your free account, simply go to empowerdb.com and click on the Join menu. In this example, we'll be setting up a free account, but you can read more and watch this video about the benefits available on our 2 paid accounts. Here is the list of templates. This video is about the FVPSA only template, but if you also have VOCA or OVW funding, you may want to use one of these combined templates instead and watch the training video associated with that template. The rest of this join form should be pretty straightforward and should only take you a couple of minutes. Once you've got this form completed, press submit and your system will be created in seconds. You just need to click a verification link that will be sent to your email and then log in with the credentials that you entered on this form. Once you're all signed in, you'll be at the EmpowerDB homepage. If you'd like to add additional users to your account, you can do so by visiting the staff list here and clicking the Add New Staff link up top. The fields here should all be pretty self-explanatory. Remember, you can add as many users as you'd like. There are a few other parts of the system you can customise to improve how you collect your data for your report, but I'll save those until the end of the video. Let's get started looking at how to enter data. On the homepage is this Add Activities module. We find that for many organisations, activities data like services and groups can be the type of information that gets entered the most. That's why this Add Activities module is right on the homepage, to make that as easy as possible. To add individual client activities, we simply select the name of a client already in the system. I'll show you how to add new clients in a moment. Then we make sure that the date field is correct. This will always default to today's date. Next, we select which FVPSA service and referral types were provided. If you provide more than one service or referral type in the same session, simply click the plus icon here and select those additional items. One session can have as many service or referral types as you like. You can also include some notes about the session if you'd like to. These don't get used for the FVPSA report. This is just here in case it's helpful to you. Click Submit and the activities are added. To enter in groups data, click on the Groups button here. Select the date and the group type, then enter in each of the attendees like this. Again, these notes for the group are optional and don't actually get used for the FVPSA report. We can submit this group and the data has been saved. There are a couple of ways to view the activities data that you enter. One handy way is by looking in your activities calendar. This calendar icon will be available on all pages in the system. Here we can see the entries we just made. We can edit these entries, delete them, add new entries on specific dates, or switch to view this information in an outline view. So, those are the Add Activities module basics. I do just want to mention that subscribers of our paid plans can have a variety of other activity types, inputs, and other options here. You've just been given what's needed for the FVPSA report. We'd be happy to talk to you more about what other features can be added here to help you with your work. Now I can show you how to add new clients into the system. From the homepage, we can click on Add New Entry up top and then select Add New Client. You will then select which of these 3 programs you'd like to add this client to. Let's select the Shelter program and continue. Here is the data input page for the Shelter program. You should already be very familiar with these questions and recognise them as relating to the FVPSA report. The first and last name fields don't get used for the report. They just help you to look up this client again later. Remember that the information saved on EmpowerDB is encrypted with a key that is only saved on your machines. It is impossible for EmpowerDB staff or our hosting providers to read the names you enter into the system. As you're entering in the client name, keep an eye on the existing client check on the right. If you enter a client with a similarly spelt name as someone who already exists in the system, you'll receive a notice here. If you're adding a client into a shelter program, you'll see this Move-ins, Move-outs section. This lets the system know exactly which clients should appear in the shelter category of the report, depending on when they were staying at your shelter. It also lets the system calculate how many shelter nights occurred for your program in each quarter. If a client moves out and then back in, you can click the Include Additional Move-in button and enter in the details for this new shelter stay. The non-shelter program's data input page looks identical to this one, except it doesn't have this move-in and move-outs section. Next, I wanted to be sure to point out this birthday age field, as it's a bit unique to EmpowerDB. If you know a client's birthday, the system will always know their age and know what age range category to put them in. If you don't know someone's exact birthday, you can enter an estimated age. Having this estimate field be a list of ages to pick from lets us accurately report this client in the right age range category as the years go by and they age into a new category. Scrolling further down in this Add New Client form, we see that Add Activities module again. This exists here to let you easily add any activities provided during this client's intake. It behaves exactly like the form I showed you on the home page. Before we click the Add New Client button at the bottom, keep in mind that this page just includes the questions needed for the FVPSA report. Subscribers of our multi-use plan can have as many questions as they want to track contact information, case management data, or any other fields that you or your funders require. All right, we're all set with this client. We can click on the Add New Client button below. Their record is created and we are taken right to their client page. In the future, we can get back to the client record by clicking on the lookup box on the top right and entering the client name or ID number that the system assigns. The client's unique ID number can be found underneath their name in the client record view. From this page, we can change any of the information we already entered for the client. We can also add in some new activities. Again, this is the same form as appears on the home page. And we can also view their activities outline to get a summary of the sessions that have been recorded for this client by all users in the organisation. Subscribers of our multi-use plan can finally control which users are able to see which activities entries. Let's take a look at what it looks like when adding a client to the hotline program. From the home page, we'll select the option to add a new client. And this time we'll place them into the hotline program. Here's the hotline data input page. The key bit on this page is the hotline calls point in time. This is where we track each hotline call from this client. With this information, the FVPSA report can tally the number of hotline calls and how many were shelter requests that were denied due to being at capacity. These call notes are just for your own benefit. They don't get used on the actual report. If this client calls the hotline multiple times, you would click the Include Additional Hotline Call button here, and then enter the details about the new call. We understand that you might not always be able to find a repeat caller's entry in the system, and thus wouldn't be able to add an additional call like this, especially if you're not ever asking callers for their names. Just do your best. There's just no way to make hotline data be as clean and tidy as data in other programs. Remember, if this isn't your preferred method of tracking hotline calls or callers, you can upgrade to one of our paid plans, and we can set up your system to collect this information in any method that you'd like. Before we move on, I want to make sure it's clear what to do when a client moves from one program to another. For example, let's say this hotline client is now being served in the shelter program. All we need to do is check off the shelter button in the programs field up here, save changes, and the system now allows us to enter the information specific to the shelter program, like these move-ins and move-outs. Now let's take a look at the other two types of data we can enter that is unique to the FVPSA report: client surveys and events. From the home page, let's select Add New Entry, and this time select Add Client Survey. Here, we see a very simple form where we can record the answers to the very basic survey questions that the FVPSA report asks about. Subscribers of our multi-use plan can set up these surveys to ask a much more dynamic set of questions, as well as having special links to send clients for them to fill out survey data and have it fed directly into the system. We'd be glad to talk to you more about how all this works if you'd like to get in touch. Once we submit this form, we can go to our list of client surveys and see this entry there. And of course, open it and make changes if needed. And finally, there's events. From the home page, we'll add a new entry and click Add Event. Here we see the 3 questions about the community education events your organisation provides. Once again, a reminder that subscribers of our multi-use plan can have forms like this track much more information than what FVPSA requires. Just like with the survey form, after we submit it, we'll be able to find it again in this program list view. Then we can modify it if needed. And that's how easy it is to collect all of the information required for your FVPSA report. Now, let's take a look at the automated reporting tool to see just how easy it is to turn all of that data into the numbers that you need to report to your funder. To access the FVPSA report, click on the Reports link on the home page. Then click on the FVPSA Progress Report. Select the quarter you want to run the report for, or set custom dates with the link here, and click Continue. And just like that, these are the report results. Everything is formatted to look just how it looks on the FVPSA report. Except after each question will be a quick explanation letting you know how the system is generating that information. Each number can be clicked on to get a look at which clients or activities make up that number. That way you can be fully confident in the accuracy of what you're seeing. Once you confirm everything you see is correct, you can transcribe the numbers you see into the web page or the format that you use to report your FVPSA data. Finally, there's a common quirk of this report that we find often trips people up. The lists of clients served in shelter and non-residential will only show clients who were served in either programme for the first time this fiscal year. So, if you're not seeing a client that you think should be in this list, try looking at prior quarters' reports to see if they were already counted in a previous quarter. This will even hold true if a client was served in a non-shelter programme in one quarter and then a shelter programme in the next quarter. They will not appear as one of the shelter clients in the next quarter because they were already reported previously in non-shelter. We have even confirmed with representatives from the Administration for Children and Families that this is how their report is meant to behave. Even though the client won't count as a new shelter resident, know that they will have their shelter nights reported in this shelter nights section here. And that's all there is to completing this report. Now, for many of you, this is all you need to know, so please feel free to stop the video here. But in case you're interested, there are actually a couple of ways that even users of our free service can customise their system. First, by default, your programs are given these rather generic names. A user with a site administrator permissions can change these names to anything you'd like by going to the homepage, clicking Database Administration, selecting Programs, choosing the name of the program you'd like to edit, and setting a new name here. Residential type programs also allow you to modify the room list that appears on the move-ins and move-outs section. For example, you make your room list show every available unit you have in your shelter. Or perhaps list multiple rooms across multiple residential programs. Subscribers of our multi-use plan can have multiple separate residential programs added to their account. Next, you can also customize the list of services and groups that appear in the Add Activities module. From the homepage, go to Database Administration, select one of the two activity types here you'd like to modify, and select the option to add a new type on the top right. For example, let's say you want to be able to record in greater detail what kind of victim advocacy services you provided to a client. You can enter each as its own service type, and then have that service type mapped to the correct FVPSA service type. So now, when a new service is added as this type, the FVPSA report will know to count this as victim advocacy services. You might also want to do this for your groups list. If you hold a variety of different support groups, you can make one for each and just make sure that they're all selected as being FVPSA qualifying groups. Then the report will know to include each in the support groups section. So, those are all the customizations that are available with the free account. If you subscribe to our paid plan, you'll be able to make any other kind of customization to the way that this report generates your numbers. We have over a decade of experience working with hundreds of FVPSA-funded organisations across the country, so believe me when I say that we've been asked to do it all when it comes to how this report functions. There is additional information in our documentation section available on the homepage. For example, you might be interested in this article on how to delete or merge clients. You can also contact us via the support section here. But please remember that subscribers of our free plan will only be able to let us know about any errors that they might be experiencing or reach out to us about upgrading to one of our other plans. I hope this video has been helpful to you and you're as excited as we are to be able to provide this functionality for free to FVPSA-funded organisations across the country. If you're interested in upgrading to our multi-use plan, we'd also be delighted to help you build a system that tracks all of the other information that your organisation collects, that meets all of your other reporting needs with our advanced reporting tools, uploads files to client records, collects data directly from clients or volunteers via off-site forms, and literally so much more. So please feel free to reach out to us if you'd like any further information on how we can help you with any of that. Thank you and take care.